Let me tell you something that most career advice leaves out. See, the best time to interview is when you don't need a job. When you're employed, your bills are covered, you like the team, you're calm, and that's the version of you that shows up as confident, relaxed, and attractive to employers. That's the version that negotiates well, and it's the version that tells the truth. So, this video is about why you should always be interviewing, even when you're happy with where you are, and how that mindset can move you years ahead in pay and seniority. See, when you're desperate, the interview becomes a test. When you're secure, the interview becomes a conversation. That's the difference. If you go into an interview thinking that I must get this or I'm in trouble, your body language changes. Your answers become short, you oversell, and you agree to things that you shouldn't do. If you go into an interview thinking, I'm happy where I am, I'm just seeing what's on the market, you talk about your work with ease. You describe your achievements in full, and you're not afraid to anchor high on salary. That's when employers actually see your real value. So, what do I mean by always be interviewing? I don't mean quit every 6 months. I mean stay interview ready all year round. Talk to recruiters, take screening calls, do the occasional first round. Keep your star HR stories warm and keep your LinkedIn active. This way, when a dream role does appear, you don't need to start from zero. See, the mistake people make is that they wait until they hate their boss or until there are layoffs. And at that moment, they're operating from fear. That's when they're going to accept a lowball offer because they can't risk losing the process. I don't want you to be in that position. So let's talk about money, because this is where always interviewing makes the most difference. Inside a company, your manager might give you 3%, maybe 5%, occasionally even 10% if you're promoted. And that's a slow growth in your salary. In the market, it's normal to ask for about 25% more than you earn now. In some sectors, 40% is not strange. If the company is struggling to hire and you have the exact skills that they need, you can even save 50%. You can be very frank about it. You can say, I've only been with this company now for 9 months. I like it there, so in order to leave, I would need at least 25 to 40% increase in total compensation. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for me to move. See, that's a very honest and very reasonable statement. You're not being greedy, you're just saying that changing jobs has a cost and the offer has to make the risk worth it. If they truly need your skills, they will move. If they can't move, then you've lost nothing because you have a current job. Now, this is especially true at the beginning of your career. One of the fastest ways I've seen graduates grow is by doing good work for a year, taking interviews, and being willing to move at the right number. I've helped many graduates in their first 5 years go from intern to senior level, earning over $100,000 a year before they even turned 30. That did not happen because the company woke up one morning and doubled their salary. It happened because they were in the market, they interviewed well, and they knew their numbers, and they were willing to move when the opportunity appeared. This is what I want you to see. Every time you accept a big jump, you're buying time. Instead of waiting 3 or 4 years for your salary to crawl from $60,000 to $80,000, you can make that jump in a single move. That extra $20,000 makes a difference to your savings, to your rent, to your travel, and to your confidence. There is another benefit: practice. If you're always interviewing, you're always practicing your stories. You don't freeze when somebody asks you, tell me a time you influenced without authority. You are familiar with your own CV, you know which achievements to lead with, and you know how to explain your 9-month stay in your current company without sounding flaky. And because you're not desperate, you tell better stories. You include why, you include how, and give measurable results. You're closer to the best version of yourself. So here's how I want you to do it. First, take the job description of a role that you would like to have in 6 or 12 months. It can be a role that's already closed, that's fine. We just need something to model your answers on that will be relevant and current. Second, order my interview toolkit. Your interview toolkit will break down all of the competencies and likely questions that they would ask, so you can write your star HR answers now. You don't have to wait until somebody calls you and then rush last minute. And third, we want to record these stories in detail. Write out the perfect answer in full sentences and then below bullet points as mental anchors for the story. Your toolkit has a table as well as the standard pages for whatever is your personal preference, as well as a story bank dashboard to access them at a click of a button with tags for competencies and story topics. So when a recruiter calls you on a Tuesday, you can just open your story bank and you're ready to go. Plus, if you use code LASTMINUTE at checkout, you'll get all of this for 50% off for the rest of this year. See, this is the best part. There's no loss. You already have a job. You already like your job. You take an interview, and if the offer's not good enough, you say no. If the offer's good, you move on, and you would have jumped several years ahead of where you would have been staying. That's smart career management. So there we have it. Always be interviewing because you perform better when you're not under pressure. You can ask for bigger salary jumps. You can get into senior money years earlier than the standard promotional track. Use the interview toolkit to build your stories in advance using an existing or even an old job description of the role that you want, and take calls throughout the year. Now, before you go, if you found this video useful, please click subscribe, not just to be notified for when a new video goes up, but because your engagement is the best and free way to tell YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn to share this out to a wider audience where somebody who really needs to see it will see it. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.